A couple of weeks ago I watched Gundam SEED Stargazer for the first time and reviewed it here on the channel, and today we're going to be diving into it a little bit more and doing a character tier list for this OVA. Before I get into it though, I want to hear from you guys, so head on down to the comment section below, let me know how you'd rank these characters or which of these characters are your favourites, and while you're there please do leave a like on this video and subscribe if you're a fan of mecha anime and want to see plenty more videos like this in the future. Alright, so we've got the tier maker website open right here. We have a total of 8 characters, so this is going to be a pretty short video in regards to tier list videos, and of course as usual we've got S, A, B, C and D tier. Starting off we have Edmund Duclos. I quite liked him. I thought he was a nice likeable presence, someone that kind of everyone seems to like, everyone gets along with. I do like that he has almost like a little bit of background on him because he kind of has this interaction with like a former colleague of his, someone who served under him, and you just get the idea that generally he was very light, not only personally but also professionally as well. Because he's not in it a whole lot, I'm going to put him in B. I liked him for the amount of time that he's there. He has a pretty good action sequence as well. He's just really not in it a whole lot, and that's going to be the same with a lot of the characters here. They don't get like super fleshed out just because it is such a short OVA. Next up we've got Joaquin, who is an Earth Force commander that all our other Earth Force members are serving under. Really doesn't do anything aside from the typical commander stuff, giving out orders. He does showcase that he has a hatred for coordinate. He's very much a Blue Cosmos coded person, if you want to call him that, but he really just doesn't do anything, just a very generic military type. So I'm going to put him in D. Again, like there's nothing inherently awful about him, but there's just nothing to the character to really discuss. Next up we've got Moody Holcroft, who does unfortunately pass away. I say unfortunately, she's basically a raging like anti-coordinator racist type of person, and we don't like those kind of people. She dies a pretty damn brutal death, and just for that she gets taken up a notch because, man, one of the most brutal deaths potentially in the Gundam SEED franchise, getting mauled by all those Kobaras Bukus or whatever they're called. I'm going to put her, I think I'm going to put her in C. In fact, just because the death is so good, I'm actually going to put her in B for now. Next up, we do have Reyes. Like I was saying earlier about Edmond, this is the person who served under him, who is now kind of commanding his own squad or whatever. Not really much to do, so I'm going to put him in C. Reasonably likable, pretty cheerful person, but you know, just not really on screen enough to really flesh them out all that much. And next up we have Celine McGriff, who is the secondary lead in this OVA, and I gotta be honest, she might be the most attractive character in the entire SEED franchise. I know we have some, you know, pretty good looking ladies, if you will, in SEED. I gotta say that she might actually be the best looking. Anyway, onto the actual character herself. I think she's like pretty good, but again, with this whole OVA, there's really not a lot of time to flesh anyone out. There's only really one character that I would say is really well fleshed out. And unfortunately, Celine kind of gets the short end of the stick when it comes to fleshing out the lead characters in here. So I still think she's really good. I think in regards to specifically this OVA, I'm going to put her in A. If we were talking about anything else, and if we were talking about the SEED franchise at large, she certainly would not be an A. But in regards to this specific OVA, when we got to have someone in that S tier, she pretty comfortably sits in the A tier. Next up, we've got Sham Kuza, who is another one of the Earth Force members, and once again, like with Moody, pretty much a raging anti-coordinator person. Does have a really cool mobile suit though, which we'll get onto mobile suits at some point. I'm going to do a tier list of mobile suits for Stargazer, but all the Earth Force members have really good mobile suits in here. I would put him in C. I'm going to put him below Reyes just because he's more unlikable than Reyes. I personally don't particularly like the character. Next up, we have Sol Ryun Lange, almost like a sidekick kind of person to Celine. Again, not huge character development or anything, but also not horrifically bad character or anything like that. I do like his relationship with Celine, does clearly care about her. I'm going to put him like there in B. I think that's a reasonably solid place for now. And then last but certainly not least, we move on to Sven Kalbayang, the lead character. I would say the only one that is significantly fleshed out. I said it in my review, if we had like a full-length series or full-length film with this or whatever, I think there's like potential for this guy to be like a protagonist of like an entire series. There's enough there with the character to, you know, really be fleshed out. But even over the course of 50 minutes, as much as I would have liked a lot more, he does a really good job at fleshing out his backstory, his upbringing, going from, you know, someone who aspires to be an astrologist to being inducted into Blue Cosmos and all this kind of stuff, horrific stuff that kind of happens to him, and I just think he's got a really interesting background and backstory, and thus has a pretty good arc over the course of 50 minutes. Of course, it is pretty rushed, and that's just the case that you're going to have when you only have a 50-minute OVA, I think very comfortably sits in S tier when it comes to Gundam SEED Stargazer. But there we have it, that is my character tier list for Gundam SEED CE73 Stargazer. Like I said, none of these characters are super amazing. Even when you have Seven right at the top, he is the only character that I think is actually a great character. Everyone else is either good or not so good. That's the case that you have when you have only 50 minutes of screen time. Before I get out of here though, please do leave a like on this video. Also subscribe if you're a fan of mecha anime and want to see plenty more videos like this in the future. And head on down to the comment section below. Let me know your ranking of these characters. Who is your favourite? Who is your least favourite? And as always, thank you so much for tuning into mchat today. I'll see you guys next time.